Once upon a time, in a small coastal village, there stood a lighthouse on a towering cliff. The villagers had always lived peaceful lives, but there was something about that lighthouse that made it a source of mystery and intrigue. It had been standing for as long as anyone could remember, but no one really knew who had built it or why it was there. What made it even more curious was that the lighthouse had never been used to guide ships. Its light had never been turned on, and the villagers rarely even saw anyone near it. Maya, a curious young woman who had grown up in the village, had always been fascinated by the lighthouse. As a child, she would often gaze at it from the beach, wondering about its history. Over the years, her fascination only grew. One day, she decided that she would explore the lighthouse and discover its secrets. It was a foggy morning when Maya set out for the lighthouse. The wind was strong, and the waves crashed violently against the rocks below. She wrapped her scarf tighter around her neck and walked along the narrow path that led to the cliff where the lighthouse stood. As she approached the base of the lighthouse, she noticed something strange. There were no signs of life. No birds, no animals, and no footsteps in the sand. The lighthouse seemed abandoned, yet there was something eerie about its presence. Maya hesitated for a moment, but her curiosity pushed her forward. She climbed the steps that spiraled up the side of the lighthouse. As she reached the top, she was greeted with a breathtaking view of the ocean and the village far below. The wind howled around her, but she felt an inexplicable sense of peace as she stood there, looking out at the horizon. Suddenly, she heard a creaking sound behind her. Maya spun around, but there was no one there. The door to the lighthouse's lantern room had slowly opened on its own. She took a deep breath and walked inside. The room was filled with dust, cobwebs, and forgotten memories. Old maritime charts lay scattered across the floor, and a rusty lamp sat in the center of the room. The light, once shining brightly to guide sailors, had been extinguished for years. Maya picked up one of the charts and noticed something strange written on it, a map that led to a hidden cave beneath the lighthouse. Intrigued, she decided to follow the map. She descended the lighthouse and made her way to the cliffs below. The path was narrow and treacherous, but Maya was determined. The map led her to a small, hidden entrance in the side of the cliff. She carefully crawled through the entrance and found herself in a dark, damp cave. Inside the cave, Maya could hear the distant sound of water dripping. She used her phone's flashlight to navigate the narrow passageways, feeling a mix of excitement and fear. After what seemed like hours of winding through the cave, she finally came upon a large chamber. In the center of the chamber stood an old, weathered chest. Her heart raced as she approached the chest. It was locked, but there was a strange keyhole in the shape of a lighthouse. Maya remembered the rusty lamp she had seen in the lighthouse and realized that it might be the key to unlocking the chest. She hurried back to the lighthouse, retrieved the lamp, and returned to the cave. With trembling hands, she inserted the lamp into the keyhole. To her surprise, the chest creaked open, revealing a hidden treasure. It wasn't gold or jewels, but something far more valuable: ancient books and manuscripts that told the story of the lighthouse. The books explained that the lighthouse had been built centuries ago by a group of explorers who had discovered a hidden treasure beneath the sea. The lighthouse had been a beacon, not just for ships, but for those searching for knowledge and adventure. Maya carefully examined the books and realized that the treasure wasn't just about the physical items inside the chest, but about the story of the lighthouse itself. She decided to share the discovery with the villagers, telling them about the history of the lighthouse and its purpose. From that day on, the lighthouse was no longer a source of mystery, but a symbol of the village's rich history and the adventurous spirit that had shaped it. Maya's curiosity had led her to uncover the truth, and she had brought the forgotten story of the lighthouse to life.